One step is enough to change everything. It's a pretty chilling realization, right? Just imagine being inches, literally seconds away from a massive disaster that you can never, ever undo. Today, we're dissecting a real-life near miss to understand the actual mechanics of workplace complacency and to see just how incredibly fast a routine job can turn into an absolute catastrophe. Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining us for the second chance, a lesson in height safety. We're going to walk through a super tense event from a mining construction site. And what's really fascinating here is how this story completely breaks down the psychology behind why smart, highly experienced people make really dangerous mistakes. We're going to look at what we can all learn from a moment that almost ended in tragedy. Section 1. The exhausted night shift. Okay, so to understand the error, we first have to really understand the environment. The physical setting is usually this silent culprit that perfectly sets the stage for a critical mistake. Picture a busy mining construction site. You've got heavy equipment constantly moving around. But crucially, the crew is nearing the very end of a grueling 12-hour night shift. The workers are physically drained and they're rushing to beat the clock. Exhaustion and high pressure. It's a seriously potent mix that absolutely compromises your decision-making. Right in the middle of this intense, high-pressure environment, we meet Bata. He's a 25-year-old operator, and this is important. He is skilled, he's respected, and he is extremely confident in his work. He isn't the new guy making rookie mistakes. He knows exactly what he's doing. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates a terrifying truth about safety. Dangerous complacency doesn't just happen to amateurs. It so often strikes the highly skilled workers who just feel a little bit too comfortable with the risks they face every single day. Section 2. The fatal shortcut. Now this is the exact moment where a completely routine task collides head-on with human exhaustion. Just think about the psychological trade-off happening in Bata's mind here. On one hand, you have the required procedure, the safety inspection checklist. It takes time. On the other hand, there's that exhaustion-driven thought we've all probably had. Let's just finish fast and rest later. His team is installing scaffolding at height. Everyone is incredibly tired. Bata looks at that checklist, and he ignores it. And that choice leads to a terrifying action. He climbs upward without attaching his safety harness. No lifeline at all. He's relying entirely on his own confidence and the assumption that everything's going to be fine. Because, well, it usually is. And for a brief moment, everything did seem normal. Section 3. Seconds from disaster. Because he skipped that checklist, he completely missed a critical hazard. Suddenly, a loose connection gives way. That single unchecked piece of scaffolding just shifts right beneath his weight without any warning at all. The scaffolding shifted. Bata lost his balance, and gravity instantly takes over. His body drops backward into empty air. Can you imagine the pure, visceral panic of that exact moment? Just feeling the ground completely vanish from beneath your boots? Seconds. Only seconds. I want to pause here for just a moment. In any near-fatal accident, time always seems to stretch out. The difference between life and death is so often decided in literally a fraction of a heartbeat. Bautista is falling. And then, an absolute miracle. A senior operator named Ganba grabs him. In this incredibly tense, split-second intervention, Ganba manages to catch Bata just before he plunges down. The disaster is forcefully halted by the quick reflexes of a teammate. Section 4. The aftermath and reporting. So, what actually happens right after you cheat death? In the immediate aftermath, there was just pure silence. The entire team totally froze in disbelief. Bata's heart is pounding out of his chest as he looks down from that height. The reality just crashes over him. He had almost never returned home, all because he wanted to finish a few minutes faster to get some rest. And this brings us to the core lesson of today's explainer: the near miss. You see, a near miss isn't just a lucky break. It is a warning that gives us a second chance. It's basically the universe handing you the answers to the test before you inevitably fail it. So what do Bata and Ganba do about it? That evening, inside the site office, they don't just brush it off and go home. They formalize it. They sit down together and they complete a near-miss report. But it doesn't stop there. The incident is transparently shared across the entire company. It becomes a mandatory safety lesson for every single worker. Bata's terrifying error is literally transformed into a protective shield for his colleagues. Section 5. A second chance. I want you to listen to this incredibly powerful realization from Bata. He said, "We don't work safely only for ourselves, we work safely for our families too." It's no longer just about compliance or ticking some box on a piece of paper, but Ta realized exactly who bears the true cost of a workplace shortcut. If he falls, his family falls with him.
And this changed his entire trajectory. It triggered a total transformation. Step 1. From that day forward, their team never skips safety inspections again. The lesson permanently stuck. Step 2. Vitas steps up and becomes a volunteer HSE trainer. And step 3, he actively shares his story so others will never repeat his mistake. He took a moment of supreme vulnerability and used it to protect everyone around him.
You know, not everyone gets a second chance in a high-risk environment. Near misses are warnings that give us that second chance. So the real question is, will you listen to yours? I want you to keep Vitar's story in mind the very next time you feel that urge to rush. Work safely. Every task, every shift, every single time. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep looking out for each other, and I'll catch you next time.